Hey everyone, we're back in the video, NHL Hockey News Reports. Today we're talking about NHL goaltenders that may be on the move. There are some teams looking for goaltenders to bolster the lineup for playoff. Trying to make a long playoff run. Maybe they want a better duo. Maybe they need a better goalie. Maybe they just need some reassurance in goal. That may be what they're looking for. Maybe they're right on the bubble. We're in the wild card spot and they want to be better, maintain that wild card spot, or even get better may be an option for some of these teams. So let's get into it. We have 5 candidates on the board that may be moved. Some of them may be moved at the deadline and some may not be. We have 2 more over the board. Looking at the first one, 2 years. UFA this offseason, 3 years, a year after another season on his deal, and a 4-year deal left on 4 years left on John Gibson's deal. So there are terms scattered all over the board here. Which one will fit your team best? And not everyone will have, a 4-year deal will work out for your team. Now, looking at the first one, let's just prioritize here. What might be the easiest one to move at this point? The easiest one comes to mind has got to be Kaapo Kähkönen. Not because of great play. He's been okay parts of the season for him. And then there's some months he hasn't done the best. He's been okay, and then sometimes no, he hasn't. He has a 2.75. He's a UFA. He's 27, good age as a goaltender. Takes time to be a solid goaltender, right? So this is a good one here. Maybe the Sharks even retain still not 2.75. Maybe they retain 50% of that. That could really help them. Also, help other teams, who are trying to make the playoffs. Maybe they just need a Kähkönen. Maybe more like a backup goalie Kähkönen could be like, right? So, for Kähkönen, like I said, he's 27, 2.75. Could retain that 50%. He's also a UFA, so you don't have to sign him at the end of the year. Or you can sign him for cheaper, unless... see how he does. Maybe you sign him for more. I don't know. Depending on how he plays, right? But remember, Kähkönen plays for a it's a rebuilding team. The worst team in the league, right? So this team right here, his numbers don't look the best. Remember what team he's playing for. Also, moving on to another team. Or another player, I should say. Let's go to Jake Allen here. He's 33 years old, so he's older than Kähkönen, an older veteran goalie at 33 years old. He has $3.85 million. He has another year on his deal. So this year and then next year at $3.85 million. Do you think it's worth it? They have this 3 goalie rotation between Montembeault, Primeau, and Allen. It feels like more of Montembeault and Primeau has been getting more starts than Allen lately. Primeau has really shown some stuff. It's been kind of like, is it Primeau or Allen? It really feels like it's leaning toward more of Jake Allen being on the move at this point. So that's why I just put Jake Allen on the board than Caden Primeau at this point. I really do think it's going to be Jake Allen at 33 years old. Also, we'll see what happens. Maybe they retain some of the salary too at 3.85 for another year. Could be. I could also see this being more of a off-season move. Even though I think Canadians fans, management would not want this to go to the off-season, I think you might see this potentially go to the off-season. And then from there, get the best, option. Because the cap's going to go up by $4 million. You're going to see that happen. And maybe you don't have to retain most of that $3.85 million. Right? So, maybe a team does come in like the LA Kings or something like that. That's a possibility. But LA may be asking for retention on this deal. I think LA has about $4 to $5 million in cap space. So if LA wants to add another player or something like that, they may ask Montreal to retain some of that $3.85 million. Just a thing to put out there. Same thing with the Oilers. If the Oilers want Jake Allen, they're going to have to retain some. Seattle, not as much. Maybe Seattle takes that $3.85 million and said, all right, Chris Striegel, he is going to be a UFA. We can let him go at the end of the season. Jake Allen and Joey Daccord can be our goalies. Group battle, I don't know. The guy's gonna be injured. I don't know. So maybe they do say this is fine. But Grubauer is a big contract for tournament money, so could be also an issue for Seattle. Moving on to another team. 3 years, you have $5.4 million. Is Elvis Merzlikins worth that $5.4 million now? No, he is not. He's 29 years old. His rookie season and his sophomore season were probably the best years he ever played, which made him a $5.4 million goalie, but he does not play like that right now. Maybe it's just Columbus, how they have played. He has been a good goalie in his career before that. But is Merzlikins worth that $5.4 million and that 3 years left? No. Will Columbus have to retain some of that? They probably have to. Would you buy him out instead? That could also be an option with a cap penalty for sure of how much you'll have to pay more than 3 years. But if they don't and they find a suitor for Elvis Merzlikins, you have to think that $5.4 million will be retained because of just how his play is. Very interesting for sure. Moving on to probably the top best goalies here. Might be tough to get, cap reasons, but it really could bolster your team for a really solid performance in the playoffs. Starting off with the 33-year-old Jacob Markstrom, $6 million, 2 years left on a deal. He signed a 6-year, $6 million deal before. He's got 2 years after this year. He's 33, like I said, but he's just a solid goaltender. I thought like LA would be such a good option for him. But will LA want to take on $6 million on a deal? That's the thing. Markstrom's already going to be an expensive goalie, but if you retain, let's say, some of the deal, it's going to add even more to what LA is going to give to Calgary. Maybe that would be a great pick. I think it'll be such a fantastic option. Have Talbot and Markstrom. I think it'll be great. Talbot's been solid. Markstrom can kind of be that 8-1, AB type tandem there. That would be fantastic to see. But it's something that would be great. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we'll see. John Gibson is another one. $6.4 million for 4 years left on his deal. He's 30. He's a good goalie, but he's been playing for terrible teams the last 4 years of his life, right? 5 years or something like that. With the Anaheim Ducks going through a rebuild, John Gibson has been there the whole time. So $6.4 million may be a lot for him. Maybe the Devils pick him up. I also think the Devils could go for Markstrom. They could go for Gibson. Guys like that, I think the Devils should at least look at. Gibson is an interesting one for sure. There's always been talk about him going to the Edmonton Oilers and the Pittsburgh Penguins. But Pittsburgh now, their goaltending is fine. It's solid, right? So they're not looking for goaltending. New Jersey obviously is. And we'll see how things go from here. But, Gibson is an interesting one. Do you retain salary? That's 4 years on his deal. It's a tricky situation for Anaheim too. Even if Gibson wants to be traded, it's kind of like, 4 years left on a deal. It's a tough one to really figure out for sure. Even Ottawa would be an interesting one. But Ottawa kind of put themselves in a tricky situation, signing Korpisalo and Forsberg. And they have guys coming up like Sogard and Mandolisi and guys like that, right? So, it kind of puts them in a tough spot for Ottawa. They've been in a tough spot for any position they've been in the whole season. So we'll see what happens. Carolina's another team that could go for. I think Markstrom would be fantastic in Carolina. Jake Allen might be an interesting one. Kappa Kakinen might be the cheapest option out of all these. Well, most Lincolns might be, but that's going to be a tricky one for sure to figure out with the cap and all that. This one's probably the easiest to move. It's just because cap-related reasons. Not saying he's the best player. Obviously, he's not on this board, but Kakinen would probably be the easiest, like I said, out of all of them. So let me know your thoughts. Who goes where? If any of them go anywhere. Maybe I would say definitely Kakinen, Maybe Allen. This one's a tough one. I don't know about this one. I would say Markstorm potentially. This would be a really interesting one if Markstorm does get traded. That would be really good. So we'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts. Where these players go in your mind. Some of these might be off-season moves. Like I said, Allen might be an off-season move. Maybe Moslikins might be an off-season move. Gibson might be too. It's really tough to pinpoint where that might be. So thanks for watching. See you next video. Bye.